Welcome back, guys, and this is the TNB Monster Truck. Now, there are a lot of very interesting things about this truck. However, one of the most interesting things is the fact that it has a lot of different bodies, and secondly, if you want to run it with just the cage, you can do that as well. And it actually has not only console-compatible files, but it takes up very little space. I think it's only around 74 or 75 megabytes, if I remember it correctly. So, if and when this thing does make it to consoles, it won't really take up all that much space, really, at all. Now, the detail on the engine is really, really cool as well, and if you zoom in just a little bit, you can actually see the turbo right there connected to the header, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on with this build. So let's fire it up, take it into the garage, see what we can do with it, and then we're going to get it out into the testing grounds and see what it can do. Also, just so you guys are aware, there is a four-wheel steer and only front-wheel steer version of this truck, but for the purposes of this test, I've decided to go with the four-wheel steer version. It sounds good, though. It sounds really good. Whoa, it's actually got quite a bit of pull, too, even in, like, the stock tune. Now, granted, I'm not quite sure how many other tuning options this thing has, especially for power, but that's what we're about to find out. Now, straight into the customization, obviously you're going to start with an S plus power to weight ratio. That's kind of a given. That's something that I would expect out of a truck like this. But let's see. Monster Jam engine. That's all you get. Not surprised. Monster Jam transmission and Monster Jam buzz tuned. And this is interesting because it says, this transmission is strictly meant for a steering wheel and shifter setup. Highly not recommended for use without a Thrustmaster or Logitech wheel and shifter. So for those of you guys that use or like to use wheels and shifters with your mods, that would be the setup for you to use. I'm not going to use that because I am currently on a controller as I record this video, but it's really cool to have that option there. Now, into the suspension, you have stock and then stock no damage. I'm going to go with the no damage version just so I can avoid any damage-related issues. And off-road tires-wise, you have, well, I should say, off-road. The category is off-road. They're really all off-road. None of these are ever meant to go on the road, but these are some 66-inch BKT tires, and these are some other, ooh, these actually have some way deeper tread on them. These are going to be more of your Monster Jam-style tires, and these are going to be more of your agricultural mud-style tires. I'm going to go with the Monster Truck-style tires on this one, and then winch-wise, you have just a standard default winch, and frame add-ons, this is where it gets very, very interesting, because you have a bunch of different bodies that you can put on. Now, there's the Extreme Monster, which is based on kind of a Titan body. Then there's the Crusher, which is based on a GMC body. Let's see. Oh, there you go. There you go. The Mud Pirate, which is based on a Silverado body. Snakebite, obviously third-gen Dodge body. Gambler, which looks to be based on a... I'm going back and forth on that one. That kind of looks like it's got some features of like an older Ford, but it also, when I originally looked at it, it looked a little bit S10-ish, but when I look at the door doesn't look like an S10, so I'm kind of going back and forth on that one. Then we have the Monster Madness, which it's very, very clear what that's based on, and then you also have the 66-inch spare tire, which you can put in the back. I'm going to go with I really do kind of like the Snakebite, because I really dig the third-gen body style, but at the same time, I also like the Crusher, so I'm kind of going back and forth in terms of like what I'm going to run. I might actually run the Extreme Monster though, because you really never see the Titan body used on really anything except for, well, the Titan itself. Now, wheels-wise, you have one option, and that's those deep dish TIS wheels, and there are a bunch of, whoa, that's really, really cool. So when you actually change the paint color, it changes the color of the cage, not the color of the body. I really dig that, though. Wow, the blue cage actually highlights the body a lot, because the body color is a little bit darker, so having a brightly colored cage kind of brings out the color of it a little bit. At least in my opinion it does. So let's go with kind of a brighter blue. No interior customization on this one, but you're dealing with a center seating position, and I will tell you, I really love the fact that the cage color actually matches the valve cover covers. Now, they're really not the valve covers, but they're the cover that goes over the valve cover itself. It also matches the color of the air filter right on top of the turbo. That's really, really cool. All right, let's fire this thing up and see what it can do. That four-wheel steer is very, very, very active. Let's see what this thing can do when you put it in. Whoa! That's sick. That's awesome. The fact that you've got that center seating position, too, really gives it that Monster Jam feel and that Monster Jam vibe. Let's see what it can do when we ask it to go up and over some things. And let's also drive it up and over a few cars while we're at it. Because really, at the end of the day, I mean, it's a monster truck. We're going to crush some things with it. Dude, that suspension, though, that suspension travel is amazing. Although I will tell you, if the rear end actually, you know, bottoms back out and you have the rear steer cranked a certain direction, it is going to fling you really hard. Sending it. Oh, that's so controllable. Dude, and that landing was so smooth. This was built to jump. It was genuinely built to drive like a Monster Jam truck. Let's see how these tires grip up on the rocks. Now, granted, these tires weren't really designed for rock performance, but it's gonna be kind of cool to see how they do. I mean, okay. If it wasn't so wide, I mean, you could take it down like a rock crawling course. But then again, at the same time, I mean, due to its width, it could probably just drive over whatever rock crawling course you actually threw it at. Now, let's take it into the mud real quick and see how it responds to some mud. Shallow mud, it literally doesn't even care. Now, I am a little curious to see how it's going to perform in the deeper stuff with these really wide tires, because as we know, the game's physics system doesn't really care for the really wide tires in deep mud. But so far, it seems to be doing really well as long as you leave it in automatic mode and not high. And that's completely fine. I'm not really trying to have this thing in high through, you know, a bunch of different mud pits. But let's go ahead and get down to the actual monster truck business and see if it can actually drive over some stuff. Now, I'm going to probably grab probably a fleet of default trucks. Let's throw some ANKs out there. Nothing too crazy. And let's just see what it can do. Now, when I say I'm going to throw some ANKs out there, I feel like I could have gone with something smaller, but don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. I only wish that I could have beans in it. All right, let's see what we can do with this thing. Oh, is it going to make it over the first one? No. No. I may have bitten off a little bit more than I could chew on that one, admittedly. All right, let's back it up and see if we can kind of hit these a little bit faster and just see what happens. It's probably going to just plow right through them. But let's find out, and go! Send it! Well, it actually, I'm surprised it didn't get any damage at all. I mean, it just kind of like flung itself right into him. I love how much it flexes though, especially for like a monster truck suspension. It flexes out really well. Hey, there we go! Up and over! Well, we successfully climbed over at least one ANK. I'm going to bring in some smaller vehicles now, because as far as crushing stuff, this is going to do a lot better if you put it up against some small stuff, like, for example, the Dawn. The Dawn is going to be perfect for this, and the Dawn, really, at the end of the day, I mean, it's, woo, easy. Easy. Let's see, will it fit there? It'll fit well enough. All right, we got a few Dawns chilling out. Let's see what happens when we ask this thing to drive over those. Oh my god, easy. So easy, dude. So easy. Wow. That's brilliant. That is absolutely freaking brilliant. I love that. I freaking love that. Look how good that looks with the HUD turned off. I mean, wow. And I gotta say, there are a few, like, better ways to be like, yeah, I'm not sure that I want to use the Dawn anymore. Like, there are a few better ways to do that than literally driving right over one with a monster truck. Let's drive over the rest with the HUD off. This is gonna look great. Oh my god. That's so freaking legit, dude. God, I love that. Whoa! Oh, that's sick with, like, the rear end flexed out. That's awesome. Now, let's go ahead and throw that HUD back on so we've actually got some controls. And let's swap out the body on this thing now. Now, let's see. Body 1, we're going to take that off. Body 3 should be the... Oh, there we go. That's the Chevy body. What about the Dodge body? I dig the Dodge body on this thing. And one of the coolest things about it is that when you change up the body, it completely changes the entire attitude and the entire look and feel of the truck. Now, since this is kind of like a darker green, I might change up the color of the cage a little bit, and once again, with DevTools, you can do that on the fly. But, whoa, the orange actually highlights that pretty well. I mean, it's a big contrast, and it's going to be one of those things where people are either going to like it or they're not going to like it, but, God. Oh, I love how it actually does change the colors of even the suspension pickup points and the air filter on the turbo. It really does a great job with that. One more time, gonna see if I can get over these ANKs. Oh my, what? Whoa! Yo, that's so sick. Oh my god. Come on. Getting the rear to get traction is gonna be the hardest part here. I mean, it can go up on top. Oh! What? Whoa! What? Oh my, whoa! Dude! Alright, hang on one second. I'm gonna see if I can make it. I'm completely on top of these ANKs now. I'm turning the HUD back off again. I want to see this in full detail. That is so wild. Look at that. That is so freaking wild, dude. That is so nuts. I absolutely love that. That's so freaking crazy. And the fact is about this thing, I mean, you can set it up literally however you want. Literally however you want to set this thing up is how you could set it up. Now, HUD's going back on again because, once again, I just wanted to see what this thing looked like in its full detail, you know? But we're going back to body number 1, that Titan body. And, God, the detail work of the lights on that Titan body is so cool. And actually, it doesn't look terrible with the orange cage either. So now we're going to go through a couple more tests, and then we're going to take it down the bridge jump, because we've done a couple of tests that we don't normally do with this thing. Obviously, that's because it's a monster truck, and I wanted to do kind of like a crawling slash obstacle crushing test. But the dips obstacle, I mean, it's going to ace. It's going to absolutely ace the dips obstacle. Let's see how she do. Come on. Whoa. Whoa. It's actually really good at, like, if you balance it the right way, I'm sure it could hold a bit of, like, a balance wheelie. Whoop. Yeah, I mean, the dips obstacle, it doesn't even care. That's all about literally, like, trying to get it to hold a balance wheelie. Now, in terms of taking it down the bridge jump, it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be fine off the jump itself, but the only thing I'm worried about is just tagging the edges of the bridge with my tires, because if I do that, my run is over, and I've got to try again. Now, the rear steer version is probably the worst option for this, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to spawn myself in a handy-dandy front steer only version. And let's see, standard monster truck. And the nice thing about it is the fact that I won't really need to do anything crazy to set it up. All I'm going to need to do is put the body on it, put the orange cage in it, and we will do, let's see, don't need to change the tires, no damage suspension, and we're good to go, and we can fire it right back up. I mean, literally, you've got one engine option to worry about. You're not going to have to worry about whether or not you're on the highest performing one, or whether or not you're on the highest performing gearbox. The only time you'll want to switch out the gearbox is, once again, if you're on a wheel setup. So, easy up the hill. Send it. Come on. Gonna let it just gravity run in neutral and go. Oh, wow. Dude, that was beautiful. That landing was so incredibly perfect, dude. Oh my God. This thing is pretty dang wonderful. I've got to say, this thing is amazing, and you guys have got to check it out. Now, of course, there will be a link in the description box down below to where you guys can check this thing out on mod.io. And if you enjoyed the video, please do let me know any thoughts or opinions in the comments down below. And if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on if, of course, you would like to see more. That's going to do it for this one, guys, and I will see you guys next time.